So I'll start out with another story. So my job at work, I work at the hospital part-time in addition to being a spiritual coach and doing sessions and doing workshops and retreats and all that fun stuff and sessions. I work part-time at a hospital and my job has changed. Right now, social work, I'm a social worker at the hospital. And right now, social work is going through a lot of change. It's really, really stressful at the hospital. The social workers that I work with, they have way more work to do than they have time to do. So it's like a pressure cooker. And then fortunately, they don't get paid. Like, if you work at the New York Stock Exchange, that's a pressure cooker, but hopefully you get paid really well. Well, there's social workers, they don't get paid that well. They're under a lot of stress. So I say they because I'm in a different category now. I'm working for an outpatient unit and an inpatient rehab unit, and it's less stressful there, which is why I chose to work there. But my office is still with all these stressed out social workers, right? And I'm less stressed out, so I don't have as much in common with them anymore. I'm not like all stressed out with them, and also, I probably meditate a little more than they do too, but it's there, and they're just we have less in common, and they're pretty negative and burned out and that type of thing. So it just is, and they don't really. I don't know how to say this. It seems like I just don't fit with them as much anymore, and they seem less interested in what I have to say, and I don't have that common thing. I can't talk about how work sucks as much, So I've lost some credibility because I'm just not stressed out enough, I guess. And meanwhile, I'm on these other units, okay, and they think I'm great. I mean, they are really interested. They say, boy, when you share this, it really helps us. And they're like thanking me for being there and that. And yet my office is down in the stressed out social workers. Now I have the opportunity, I've been asked, in fact, that the head of the social work department said, well, maybe you should really be in this other department. They don't even want me in their department, So I have this opportunity to move offices, and I'm just sitting there. I was sitting there the other day, and one of my coworkers made this kind of snarky comment, critical comment about how, oh, it must be nice. I was taking a break and I was looking for a Christmas present, on my computer. It's like, well, it must be nice to like work on your own stuff, and it's like, well, I'm taking a break, we're actually supposed to take breaks. I didn't say that to her. I just said nothing actually. But it just is like, why not move to this new office where they think I'm awesome rather than this place that they think I'm kind of a slacker because I'm not stressed out and like killing myself working as much as they are. And so what it leads me to inviting you to look at, myself and us to look at, is our environments, and do our environments, are they a good fit? Do they uplift us? Are our environments is the place I'm at, is it a good place for me? Does it nurture me? Does it appreciate me? Do I feel like I'm connected and belong? Do I enjoy being there? Now it is work, okay, so you don't always maybe have a total warm and fuzzy, but relatively, am I respected? Does it feel like I fit here? Does it feel like I'm getting good work done? Does it feel like people appreciate me and the work I get done, etc., etc.? And if not, maybe it's not a good place for me, or maybe something needs to shift. Maybe I need to have my office on a different floor. Maybe it's time to consider, is this the job for me? And it's not only with jobs, of course, it's like groups of people, it's environments. And because different environments have different vibrations, they have different, I sometimes say, levels of consciousness. The people in those environments have different levels of consciousness. I'm now, you could say, in a different level of consciousness than my coworkers, at the very least, a different vibration than my coworker. They're in this stressed out vibration and I'm not. I'm in a more calm, vibration. And so it doesn't fit. Those frequencies, those vibrations aren't simpatico. They don't fit. And so therefore I don't feel nurtured. I don't feel like I belong. Not a good place for me. Well, next week, as soon as I talk to my new supervisor, I'm gonna say, I think I'm gonna take you up on moving that office. But so it also works with other people. Okay. Am I at the same vibration? Does this, and it's really the place to look for this is we can feel it intuitively. We can look to our heart. We can, our heart chakra, we not our physical heart, but our sense, our heart sense of things, our felt sense is like, and our intuition and the vibes. It's like, do I feel good here? Does this uplift me? Do I feel like I fit? Do they seem to appreciate me? Does it seem like like my gifts, do they work here? That's the other thing at my job is like the gifts I have, no one's really interested in them down there. They are at the other units. They could care less, and so it's like, well then, my presence isn't really honored here. So let's go somewhere else. So it's really important to realize is this a good place for me? The other thing is the type of energy going, more vibration. It's like if I go to if I'm in a really chill mood or I'm a really sensitive, maybe I don't want to go to a really harsh bar or like this really harsh environment, or this crude environment or, whatever it is. It's like, that's probably not a good fit. So it's like, and we can all tell, but I think what we don't do is we don't leave. We feel like we need to stay there, or we feel like we forget that we have choice. We don't need to tough it out. We don't need to make it work. We can just say, you know what? I think I'm going to go somewhere else. It's like there's all kinds of things to do. There's all kinds of places to work. There's all kinds of people to hang out with. There's all kinds of people to go out with and be married to. There's all kinds of communities to be a part of. It's like it's a choice. Where we hang out is a choice. Now there can be limitations to that, but let's just say the things that are a choice, okay? The things that like where we spend our free time, okay, is likely a choice, okay? It's like, so, let's take away work, take away family or whatever, but where we spend our free time, okay, who we hang out with in our free time, what we do in our free time, what are the environments we go to in our free time. These are choices. And so it's like just noticing, is this a good place for me? And asking yourself and feeling, is this a good place? Do I feel uplifted? Do I feel like I belong? Do I feel like the people appreciate me? Do I like the people that are here? Do I like the situation? Do I like the environment? Do I like the vibe? Do I like the energy? Is it working for who I am now? Last week I was talking in a different blog, is like we forget to update ourselves. It's like I'm at a different vibration than I was a year and a half ago when I moved into that office. It's like I'm in a different vibration. And those people are at a different vibration too. They're more stressed out and I'm less stressed out and so I'm in a different vibration now. So it's like we habitually keep hanging out in the same places, sometimes with the same people and with the same energies and the same vibrations. Yet we are different. It's like I said last week, it's time to update ourselves. It's like these places I hang out, these people I hang out with, these ways that I spend my time, these things that I do and don't do, these TV shows that I watch or these things that how all those things, the music I listen to is like, does that still resonate with me? Does it still serve me? Or am I different and I'm just habitually and unconsciously just doing the same thing, even though I no longer fit in the place that I am? And if so, it's finding a way to find a new place that you do belong. You know, the important part of the story that I shared about myself, there were 2 other units that really welcomed me and they wanted me to move they like think I'm awesome. And the other people think I'm a slacker, you know, and I'm just myself, right? You know, and so it's like, why wouldn't I hang out with the people that think I'm awesome? This is what I'm telling myself, you know, like I'm sharing my realization with you. It's like, maybe that would be smart. Maybe I should hang out where it feels good and the people aren't all stressed out and they think I'm great and I feel like I'm part of a team, you know, and we talk to each other, you know, and we listen to each other's opinions. It's like, why wouldn't I go there? You know, you know, and yet sometimes we don't, you know. So anyway, you get the idea. So that's what I want to share with you. Maybe it's time to update your environments. And maybe they're still working great. Maybe some of them are and some of them aren't. But you are different now. Even than 6 months ago, you're different. Okay, the world is different. The environments are changing. There's 2 parts to this. You're changing and the people around you are changing and the environments and the world is changing. So you're changing and the environment's changing. Now, sometimes the environment and you change in the same direction. And other times, like in my situation that I shared, we change in different directions. Okay, and so one, you know, both we're different and the environment's different. You know, and so it's time to maybe do a little update. It's like, you know, does this still work for me? Is this still a good place for me? Or even from a brand new place, I'm going into a party and just stopping for a minute. Is this a good place for me? Is it, yeah, give it a chance. Feel the energy. I always talk about allowing energy in so it can go through your chakras and you can feel it in your heart and your gut and you're into it, you know, in your solar plexus. You see it with your third eye. Allow that energy in. Okay, and then just kind of hang out. Like, is this a good place for me? You know, and if not, you know, it's time to maybe shift it, at least as soon as you can. You know, or try going to a different part of the room or whatever. But we don't have to stay in environments that don't work for us. And the thing is that there's almost always an environment that we do have access to that does work for us. And we're depriving those people and those environments of us. We're depriving ourselves and them of being in a place that does work. And we're just in a place that doesn't, which may not be working for me or even the other people. So that is my video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing week. And you know, if you go through your week, perhaps just ask yourself, you know, is this a good place for me? And just take maybe a little bit of an inventory. Great time of year for that. The winter, you know, the time of introspection. It's like the places, the environments that I hang out in and I spend my free time in, the places that I work and the people I hang out with, you know, are these good places for me? Are they still uplifting? Are we still connecting? Do I still feel like I belong there? You know, and see what you come up with. And maybe it's time to make some adjustments like I did. And I will see you in a week.